we split everything up into different parts, right? And when we look at our body, we are one energy, we are one holistic part. And instead of looking at our health in separate areas, just the mind or just, a certain system, it's really how are those all interconnected? And when one thing is off, you're going to feel it in other places. And that's where that self-awareness comes in to really heal your body as a whole.
I'm Rachel, and you're listening to the Owning Your Sexual Self podcast. All right, y'all, I'm here with another recommendation. So sorry to interrupt your podcast, but I have to talk about the Foria products that one of my colleague Susan Bratton, she sent me these last year, and these have been a game changer in the bedroom for us. Like, I cannot stress enough. So I need to go over some of these things with you. So first off, the Awaken Arousal Oil. Literally imagine the best orgasm and sex that you've ever had. And now imagine that could be even better. And that's exactly what these products are designed to do. They naturally enhance sexual pleasure and give you access to bigger and better orgasms. Yes. And like I'm attesting to that right now. And what an arousal oil is, and Awaken, this is their words. Awaken is like a juicy warm up that helps you get really turned on, increasing your pleasure, deepening your orgasm, increasing your connection with your partner. Awaken uses CBD and warming sensation inducing organic botanicals that enhance arousal, sensitivity, access to orgasm, and overall pleasure. And best of all, Awaken just turns you on. Yes, you lady that is listening. And Foria Awaken is a proven product that actually works. 92% report feeling more aroused, and 92% reported reaching orgasm. So there is a pleasure set that they offer. This is what I would recommend to go with because you get to try each of their best sellers. So in addition to the Awaken Arousal Oil, you get within the pleasure set, it comes with all three of their best-selling intimacy products: Awaken Arousal Oil, the Sex Oil, and the Intimacy Melts. So Awaken stimulates her arousal and increases sensation. The Intimacy Melts helps her experience deep internal waves of pleasure. And the Sex Oil lubricates during sex and creates a juicy experience for the both of you. Literally, the magic combination of all three of these is the ultimate sexual experiences that will take your connection with your partner to the next level. These have been so good. So fun. Danny and I, when we're together, he's like, do you want me to grab the sex oil? And I say, is that even a question? Hell yes, let's do it. So if you want to check out these products, you can go to their website, foria.com. It's FORIA.com. And if you use the code MAIN20, it's going to take 20% off of your order. I gave it the wrong website. I'm so sorry. It's Foria Wellness, FORIA wellness.com. And same code, MAIN20 is going to take your 20% off. And then on top of that, they're always running deals for like free shipping and things like that. So check it out. Let me know what you think. And I'm telling you, have I ever steered you wrong? Like these are so freaking good. Enjoy. Another episode. Thank you for continuing to listen, continuing to be a fan of the show. I have a guest on today, my friend and my IV nurse, if you will, is how we connected and how we met. But my friend Alicia Stanko is in the podcast today, and I'm just so excited. She just ventured off and started her own business. She has worked in healthcare for over 9 years in the emergency room as a nurse, and now is getting into more, what does she refer to it as? Optimal wellness, achieved from a holistic approach. So exploring mind, body, spirit, and environmental connections. I just think this is awesome. I've been a fan of hers for quite some time. We've got to go to some women's events together here in Michigan, and just to see her on her journey of like starting the thought of, I think I want to start my own thing. And I'm like, fuck yes, do it. Do it, do it, do it. And now here she is. So she's helping people, clients really with this tailored coaching program to empower individuals to take control of their health and cultivate a life of vitality and purpose. So I'm really excited to just dive in, hear a little bit more about her journey, and really talking about how prioritizing your health and mindset creates that ripple effect and empowers you to overcome personal adversity, building resilience, confidence, self-worth, all these qualities that you want to have in yourself that attracts you to the right people, the right companions, all of that. And really, we're going to talk how making small intentional shifts in your mindset, health, and habits can create a big change in your personal growth and in your relationship and just, again, overall life. So I'm excited. Oh, she just popped into the waiting room. So let's get this party started, shall we? All right. Hi, Alicia. Welcome to the Owning Your Sexual Self podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
I know, yeah, for a first podcast interview, which is so
Yes.
exciting, but because you're just getting started in this venture of your holistic approach to more mindful wellness and coming off
Yeah,
your journey as an ER nurse. You're still doing ER work, yeah?
I am. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But the goal is to kind of leave that and do a lot more of the preventative stuff.
hmm
So yeah.
Yeah, God,
Yeah.
I'm so happy to have you on the show because you are
Yeah.
literally, I'm using air quote balls deep into into the medicine side, working at
I
the ER and
am.
then realizing, right, how much of a change is needed to work more on the preventative side. And so now that's, as you just said, that's what you're transitioning into.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've been in the ER for about 10 years now. It's going on 10 years. And just through like my own personal adversities and experience, I have come to realize how big holistic lifestyle is. And so that is kind of where my empowerment is coming from to get my business started and venture out that way.
hmm Yeah.
Share
And
that with
so
others.
some of those holistic things that you have done personally, like yoga, for instance, I know that you
Yeah.
teach yoga and lead yoga. Yeah, like tell me more about that. What things have you ventured into so far?
Yeah, so I guess I can give like a little background story of
Yeah.
kind of what got me to where I am to kind of help understand a little bit, I think, for the listeners. So, really, my journey started about 5 years ago, and that was in 2020. And like for most of us, that year kind of flipped us all upside down, right? But especially for me in my health world and my mindset. So, in the health world, it kind of really made me take a step back and look at what the medical world really is. And being an ER nurse, kind of being told, like, not really to do much for these people. We didn't know what to do. These mandates being rolled out in a matter of days with so much uncertainty. And then on the other end of it, too, it was kind of making me dread my once loved career because I wasn't sure that this is exactly what I was meant to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then on my health side, I was dealing with what I now know is lupus, but those flare-ups were just exacerbating so much because the amount of stress that I was under, both personal and professionally. I was having a lot of body swelling. I was having tons of high breakouts, extreme joint pain, just fatigued all the time, regardless of the amount of sleep I was getting. And then on the personal side, I was dealing with a very narcissistic relationship. It was very emotionally abusing, and then towards the end, got very physically abusing, where I finally had the courage to leave. But not understanding at the time and now looking back, realizing how much your body is connected, both mind and health. Those influence each other so greatly. And so, really looking at my mindset during that time was just filled with so much negativity, so much doubt, so much shame. And then that's what kind of got me into the world of mindfulness. Looking back now, it's funny when you stop and think the universe really does provide you with what you need at that moment. So I was doing coping mechanisms like most of us, going out partying, suppressing those things, using drugs, alcohol, those things to not deal with what was truly going on in my life. And a great friend of mine now had introduced me to meditation. And so that is what really got me on a holistic route,
Mm-hmm.
understanding my mindset, understanding my emotions. And then that opened up my world to different healthcare modalities, if you will. And that's actually kind of what got us connected in a way
Mm-hmm.
too. So, and thank you, actually, I should say thank you to you for opening up my world even more to the mindfulness with your healing circles and that kind of stuff too. So, yeah, that's just like a little background. So for me, meditation is what kind of got me started in the holistic practice, and then knowing how much connecting the mind and body plays a role in your physical health. That is what I want to kind of provide back to others now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that like I'm going through somatic training right now myself for
Yeah.
somatic sex therapy. And it's so crazy to realize like how much our physical body manifests
Mm.
what's going on in our mind and vice versa. Like how
Yeah.
much what is going on in our mind like physically manifests in our body. And
Mhm.
to have I think just like the expertise and the skills and to know like what works for your body because unfortunately it's not a one size fits all and that's what I've learned,
Correct.
right? Like my
Yeah.
friend can say like, "Oh, this is working, this supplement, this thing, like I
Hmm.
started doing this." And for me, I'm just like, "No, like I feel nothing from this. It's not working for my body. I hate
Hmm.
doing, whatever the thing is."
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think it really is for people. It's like literally going on a journey, like going on that treasure hunt to figure out where is the tightness in my body, where is the pain in my body. And
Mhm.
then I always tell my clients, I'm like, be like a little FBI agent. Like we're
Yeah.
information gathering. What's going on in there? Like what does that place want to say to you? What does it need from you right now? And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think that journey, like meditations, sound healing, things like that, to where that space is provided for you to drop in and actually go there and feel safe doing that is for a lot of people probably the start of the journey.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree 100%. Healthcare, it's not one size fits all. It's not what a textbook answer tells you. And so when you're not getting those answers that you're looking for, that's when becoming self-aware is so important. And that's when you can look inward and see like, okay, something isn't feeling right in my body. That is my body telling me I need to change something. It's a
Hmm.
cry out for help for whatever it may be. And I think what is lost a lot of times in the world of healthcare is how our emotions are so tied to our physical health. Like you were speaking with, releasing those emotions, we hold those in different places, right? And so when those are stored in our body, you're going to see physical manifestations. So, pains and aches and pains, you're going to see bad skin, you're going to see inflammation all over your body, like I was experiencing. And those are kind of missed in the Western
Hmm.
medicine world. And so I think it's so important, especially with life getting harder and harder, to be able to listen to our bodies, to get where we want to be with our health.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And you share a little about your journey. And for me,
Mhm.
I've been open on the podcast now recently of sharing like I went through depression this past year and
Mhm.
a half. And for the longest time, I was like, I'm not depressed, right? I'm a therapist. I'm not
Yeah.
depressed. Like I have
Yeah.
all the coping skills. I have all the coping tools. Like I know what to
Yeah.
do. And yeah, I was essentially just lying to myself for a year and a half. And
Yeah.
then, well, not the full year and a half, because eventually I was like, all right, bitch, like let's figure this shit out. Um, and yeah, also I would never call myself a bitch. That just came out in the moment. So let me just
It's okay.
refrain. Let me just refrain that. So listeners are like, wow, she like hates herself. Um, no, but
Yeah.
what was I getting at with this? With oh, okay, so with I'm experiencing depression, I start to notice
Mhm.
same thing, fatigue, body aches, right? Like joint pain, mood
Yeah.
disruption. And for so long, I'm like, oh, right, I have cancer. I have like it's something
Yeah.
bad, like something's going wrong with me. Because I think as humans, it's like, well, it can't just be because I have depression. Like it can't just be because I'm
Right.
anxious. But it indeed can. It can just be like
Yeah.
our mental health has so much of an impact on our physical health.
Yeah. And I think exactly with the medical world that we're so known to be is we split everything up into different parts, right? And when we look at our body, we are one energy, we are one holistic part. And instead of looking at our health in separate areas, just the mind or just, a certain system, it's really how are those all interconnected? And when one thing is off, you're going to feel it in other places. And that's where that self-awareness comes in to really heal your body as a whole.
Hmm.
Until I really started working on my mindset, I didn't quite understand that. Especially being a nurse, I'm drilled into that Western medicine mindset of this part is broken, let's fix that one part, but what about all the other parts?
Hmm.
Um, and so being able to be in tune with your body is the biggest way that you're going to be able to get the best health that you can have.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And with this work, so when you're working with clients, what I know you sort of like customize programs to them. It's
Yeah,
again, it's not that one size fits all, so you're really tailoring your treatment with people. But
yeah.
what would like when you're working with somebody, what is that ideal person? Like who are you to help serve best? Who do you serve best is rather what I want to
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah. So I help anybody. I mean, my strong suits are the ones I think that I can personally relate to. So individuals with autoimmune type diseases, like I said myself, I had lupus. So going through those changes, I have some relatable things. But anybody dealing with like chronic disease, PTSD, depression, anxiety, ADHD, those are the ones that I really mainly focus on.
Hmm.
Um, because they're so all interconnected, and again, it's the things that I've experienced too. So generally what we do, and like we spoke about before, it's not one size fits all. So, incorporating things that make you find joy, to be able to live with purpose and vitality. So it's even going back to finding finding what your purpose is in life. It really helps to expand all of those areas in your life. So when I first started getting into this, one of the big things that I did was really hone in on my personal values. I kind of had an idea of like how you want to live life or what sounds good.
Hmm.
But until I really understood what my personal values are, I started making decisions based off of that. When you're faced with adversity, you can go back to your values. Is that in line with my value, or is it going to go outside of my value? And then finding things in the health world that help you to connect with yourself. So, we're told exercise 30 minutes a day. Okay,
Hmm.
well, to some people, exercise means going up to the gym and spending all day in the gym. And to me, that is not exercise.
Hmm.
Doing something that you enjoy, like you did as a kid. So maybe it was playing hockey, maybe it was going ice skating, maybe it was snowboarding, skateboarding, all these things that we decide to just stop doing because we get old. I
Hmm.
incorporate those back into our lives so that you can find joy. Because when you feel good, life is good.
Hmm.
When you're happy, you have the energy to do those things. So really working with shifting that mindset and then incorporating lifestyle changes into your personal life. So like you said before, what works with for somebody isn't going to work for the next person.
Hmm.
So working with diet modification, working with exercise and moving the body, and then tailoring your environment to those things. So if you're trying to change a diet, making sure those things aren't included in your house when you go shopping next time, or working with your partner. How can you work with your partner so that we have the same goals in health? Um, yeah, so it's very specific to the person.
Hmm.
But I don't shut anybody out if they don't have those issues because we all need a little more guidance. We can all use a little more alignment. But the main
Hmm.
ones are like the autoimmune, ADHD, depression, and PTSD.
Hmm. Yeah, and then just overall somebody that wants to feel better in their body.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I like that. I like what you just said too of like if you're feeling good, like life is good. And
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
I agree with that. Like yeah, I
Mhm.
won't go I won't go into much more detail about that, but just again, the journey that I've
Yeah.
been through in these last couple of years, like that is fucking true. And
Yeah.
um speaking into relationships, right? Like how, if I'm feeling good, how does that then affect my relationship? Or if I'm feeling like shit, how does that affect my relationship? How am I treating my
Yeah.
partner? And not even just partnership, right? Like friendships, family
Mhm.
relationships, just relationships as a whole. What
Yeah.
have you seen with that?
Yeah. So that was like a big thing for myself too. Oftentimes I think we look at relationships as something um to complete us rather than add to us.
Hmm.
Um, and when you are feeling down or if you're not feeling good, you're expecting your partner or whatever the relationship may be, maybe it's family or friendship, to make you feel better. but then at the end of the day, you're still left not feeling good. So really, until you can learn to love yourself,
Mhm.
and be a good person to yourself, that is ultimately when your relationships are going to change. And that was one of the big values that I have is meaningful relationships. I always felt like I had to have somebody to make me happy. And I'm finally to the point now where I am so happy with myself that I now can be a better partner to somebody else. Because if you think about it, how can you love somebody, whether that be a friendship, a romantic relationship, or, family? How can you love somebody if you can't even love yourself?
Mhm.
And so that's where I really looked into like the mindset side. And when you start feeling good, and then that exacerbates into your physical symptoms. So when you feel good and you're happy with yourself, you want to make those better choices, right? You're more apt to go do those movements that to get exercise. You're more apt to pick the healthier choice of foods rather than just the food that gives you that one quick dopamine hit and then makes you feel like crap after.
Mhm.
Um, it all spirals into each other. And so when you can feel good, then your relationships are going to be good.
Mhm.
And then also going off of that too, like going back to your values, I felt like I always had friends, but I never felt like I was a core friend, if that makes sense. So I was kind of like always an acquaintance. And I kind of, for a while I was wondering like, why is that? I now have a group of friends that I am so grateful for and that I feel so included in because their values are in line with my values. We have
Mhm.
the kind of the same mindset, right? We like to do the same activities together. So for a lot of the times, getting together with friends, it was going to the bar. Well, for me, like that's okay, but like that's not what I truly enjoy. Now with my friends, we go out for a hike, we go kayaking, we go, wakeboarding, whatever it may be. So finding your values and then finding relationships that pertain to those values too. Um, it sucked. I felt alone for,
Mhm.
a good year, 2 years. But now coming out of that, I am so grateful for that because I actually have relationships that I value so much and that lift me up and not bring me down.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, yeah, and that's a hard pill to swallow for people, letting go
Yeah.
of those relationships, relationships that you've been in
Mhm.
since middle school, high school, college, right? Like just for a
Yeah.
long time. And I've experienced this myself, and there can be a lot of guilt around it, and
Yeah.
it's, I believe I've had this conversation on a podcast with somebody else around, friendship breakups. Like
Hmm.
those are not to be just like brushed over. Those can those
Yeah.
can feel really, really deep
Yeah.
and yeah, I can imagine that feeling of loneliness, but as you mentioned, like coming, like almost having to go through the valley, right, to
Hmm.
get to the whatever the fucking phrase is, like get to the
Yeah.
ocean in this sense, right? Because I know you love to do outdoor things.
Yeah.
I'm in
Yeah.
the valley of despair and
Yeah,
loneliness and hopelessness, and now in the sunny ocean with
right.
water at my feet. Like,
Yeah, and it is hard. And I think we're as humans, you want to connect. We're
mhm,
supposed to connect with each other and it feels so good to connect. But asking yourself at the end of the day, is this relationship adding value to me or is it draining me at the end of the day and
mhm,
leaving me feel, empty. And that's what I'm working on right now with my romantic relationships. It's like I was so worried about being alone, but then leaving myself feeling so drained and unfulfilled, just to simply say I have somebody, like that's also not the relationship that you want, or that I would want. So, um, yeah, sitting in those discomforts to really find out what you truly want. And then, the universe will bring you those that you're supposed to be with and really build you up.
yeah. Mm,
Yeah.
speaking my language, girl.
Yeah.
I like what you said there too. Like, what does this add value to me, or does this,
Hmm.
deplete me? And you mentioned, making some diet changes. Would you say that like applying that same lens to food is also a part of this? Like, when I eat
Oh my
something,
gosh, yeah.
how do I feel? Versus
Yeah.
being told like, well, you can't eat sugar, you can't have dairy, you can't have XYZ, right? Like, I don't love
Yeah.
that language. It feels
No.
like I'm
Mhm.
shamed into it. And I know I want to give you
Mhm.
space to talk about that because I know that's not your vibe either.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm so glad that you brought that up. So I really had to change my relationship with food and how I look at it. And again, the more in tuned you are with your body, the easier it becomes. So having to go gluten-free, I'll share this. I got off of the phone with my naturalist and I literally started bawling my eyes out. I
Mm.
was like, what the fuck am I going to eat? There's nothing. Food is going to be so boring because, I didn't get snack queen name for a reason. So I was really distraught about it. But then once I started to understand what food really did for me, um, eating healthy became so enjoyable and the foods taste so much better to me now. Understanding that, what you're putting in your body is this, it's kind of the same thing with relationships. Is this going to help me or is it going to harm me? And um, knowing when I'm eating something that is so nutritious that this is going to make me feel good, it's going to support my body, it's going to help my mindset. That tastes so much better than taking that one bite of an ultra processed food that tastes so good for that moment in time, but then leaves you feeling groggy and crappy and run down. I think another thing too that a lot of us don't really understand, or, we might know, but kind of don't like to think about is that a lot of the foods that we're eating now are so ultra processed with chemicals to sustain life on the shelf that it's actually feeding into your anxiety. It's feeding
Mm.
into your depression. It's making you not feel good. So after you eat, you're sitting there so tired, you don't want to go get up and do anything. So cutting out a lot of those types of foods, it was very hard at first because yes, you're addicted to it. I
Mhm.
think it's something that's not talked about enough, actually, is that the addiction to food that we have. But it's once you can get over that and you change the relationship with that food, it's still so enjoyable. I still eat a
Mhm.
ton. But it's those foods that make me feel really good, and know that it's going to help my body, and that ultimately helps my mindset too.
Yeah. I forever will have the image of there's a documentary on Netflix called Hack Your Health. Have you watched
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
the video, sorry, I have a dog on my lap. The video of when we eat sugar and like it's like purple minions, and
Yeah.
it's like when we eat sugar in our body, our little stomach enzymes are like, "Ah," and they like run around like
Yeah.
crazy, like they don't know what to do. And then the image of like the broccoli coming down, and the little gut minions are like sitting at
Yeah.
their little dinner table, and the broccoli comes on and then they cut it up and they share it, and it's like when we eat broccoli, like it serves our body in like all these different ways versus like the sugar. It's literally like your gut is having an anxiety attack when we
Yeah.
eat sugar. And I was like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just forever, and I am like the candy queen. You're the snack queen, I'm the candy queen. I
Yeah.
love sugar. I love
Yeah.
sugared candies, all the things. And so but every time now I'm like eating my chocolate or like my Skittles or my Starburst, I just imagine like my little gut guys
Yeah.
going crazy. Or now when I eat broccoli, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, they're happy. Like it's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, and it's like and really it's not that you have to completely cut those things out. It's about making smarter choices with those things. So
hmm
finding, there's tons of candies out there that don't have all the additives, have all the dyes in them, and you can still enjoy those, right? It's moderation
hmm
with everything in life. I think too, getting back to like cooking meals in our kitchen together, really builds bonds between relationships that
hmm
we don't have anymore. Like we're so on the go with everything and we're so tied to our screens, myself included. That sometimes we forget about that physical connection with each other. So getting
hmm
in the kitchen and cooking those foods together, one, not only promotes healthy eating, but two, at the end of the day, accomplishing that and then tasting it and having it taste really good, that food
Hmm.
is so much more enjoyable. And then it creates that connection between each other, having that time to talk to your partner, to your family, to your daughter.
Hmm.
I try to do that with my daughter at least once a week. And then when we do have dinner at home, we sit at the dinner table together.
Hmm.
We try not to have our screens. I don't have my phone. She doesn't have anything else, and we just have conversation. When I first started doing it, a little bit awkward. She like didn't want to talk, you know.
Yeah.
But now it's like we sit down, we have dinner, and she tells me all her little friend drama, and we talk about our days, and she wants to know what's going on in my life, and it just creates such a bigger connection than what we realize.
Hmm.
And incorporating food into our life is wonderful. I think sometimes when people think of healthy eating, they think of eating like nothing, like I did,
Hmm.
and eating so like bland and like yuck. But if we can change that relationship with our food and incorporate that in with our families, go back to our roots of like having everything fresh on the table, really helps us to live a better, healthier, more fulfilling, joyful life.
Hmm. Yeah. Ugh, all that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine I would have the same reaction if I was told I needed to cut out gluten. I have been told
Yeah.
I should cut down on gluten in the past, and I have ignored it. I'll be very honest
Yeah.
and candid.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah.
Um, but
It's not easy. I mean,
it's
it's really
not.
not easy
Yeah.
because it's literally in fucking everything that you eat. Like,
Hmm.
and I think that's why at first it was so devastating to me. But now, it's almost like empowering because now I'm finding new and fun, creative ways to eat
Mm,
things that I used to eat before. Like, different egg dishes. Like I used to just cook an egg and eat it. Like now I'm eating it with quinoa and spinach and,
mm,
feta, and it tastes so good. Where
hmm.
before I don't know that I would do that if I had to change my diet. So, yeah, I mean it's not easy,
Mm.
but it does feel good when you can get there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a hypnotherapist on the show once, and she was talking about like doing hypnotherapy for
Hmm.
eating habits, and
Oh yeah.
that was really fascinating. And I was like, maybe I should do that, to where it's like, let me stop eating sugar and like love an avocado,
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll put a pin in that another
Yeah.
time.
We'll check back.
Yes.
We'll circle back around on that
Yes.
one.
I love that you shared though the cooking together. I think that that's right for
Hmm.
couples too, and even the sitting down at the dinner table. I know
Yeah.
this is with your daughter, but even doing this in partnership, just
Yeah.
having that time of disconnection and that time to connect, because I think that also helps with our mental health, and then again translating down into our physical health. When I can feel
Yeah.
that physical connection to my partner, just another human, like to really feel heard, felt, seen, appreciated, understood, validated.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, like just again,
Yeah,
that good kind
100%.
of tributes to us, like us feeling good. And like when we feel good, life is good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you're in a relationship, right, it's supposed to be a life partner. And if you don't know anything going on in their world, how do
Hmm.
you connect? So one of the big things is like the kitchen is the perfect place for that. It's
Hmm.
a place that you can have fun, you can laugh, you can joke, you can have a serious conversation if need be, and not have the distraction. Because oftentimes we come home,
Yeah.
we just turn on a screen, we finish our work, we, go out to the bar, we do whatever. But that really gives you that time for just you and your partner to connect and enjoy yourself. And then
Mm.
when it doesn't turn out, at least you both did it together and it's not one
Yeah.
person's fault. You know?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We're like, okay, we'll go order from Big Al's, or we'll get some pizza. We'll get some
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
instead. So and
And
it
then
oh go ahead.
no, and I was just gonna last thing I'll say with that is it's so empowering too for kids. If you have not just like a husband and wife or partnership, if you have kids too, include the whole family. To see my daughter's empowerment after she made
Mm-hmm.
a meal and it tasted so good, she was so, so proud of herself. And then she also, again, that's just incorporating that healthy eating. And she was like, wow, mama, this really does taste good. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, see, like, so the empowerment side of it too is like huge.
Yeah. And for context for listeners, how old is your daughter?
Oh, she's 7.
She's 7. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just, I knew like she was littler. I was just wanted kids or
Yeah.
listeners rather to know, like, we're talking about like a little
Oh, yeah.
tiny
Yeah.
person here.
Yeah, and it's teaching life skills too that we don't get taught anymore.
Hmm.
Like we got to learn how to cook at some point. So incorporating
Yeah.
them sooner, I think is just so wonderful in all aspects of life.
Hmm. So, with you being on this journey yourself,
Mhm.
can you speak a little bit to like what has helped keep you motivated? Because I often know, right, myself included, I talked about like I
Yeah,
was taking a supplement, I was doing so good at it. Life
yeah,
happens, I stop it. Right now, I'm been praising myself a lot. I've gotten really good into my skincare, and like I have a really
Mhm.
good nightly routine right now.
Yeah.
Um,
It looks beautiful,
and
by the way.
thank you, thank you. Um, and I'm going to Minnesota this weekend, and so I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
like I don't want that to disrupt me. So how do I stay motivated? How does someone
Mm.
stay motivated? Or yeah, if they do like, fall off the wagon,
Yeah.
how do we
Yeah.
jump back on?
Yeah. So I think for me, what I have developed because I was very much that roller coaster person. I would do it, I'd feel good, then I'd stop doing it. Or like that change in routine, you're going on vacation, you're doing something. I think one, what we have to understand is life is always going to be changing.
Mm,
So do give yourself a little bit of grace. You fall off, it's okay, get right back on, don't shame yourself for it, just recognize it and then strive to do it the next day. But what has really helped me, I think, is my daily non-negotiables. So I decided that there's three of them, and they're not big things. I think sometimes too, when we start to try to change a lifestyle, we jump into too many things at one time and
hmm
we get overwhelmed. So really just pick one thing, stick with that, make it a habit. And then once you have that down, change another aspect of your life. But my daily non-negotiables are I started getting up an hour before I have to leave the house. I used to be somebody that would just roll out of bed, you know, half hour before, 15 minutes before, throw on some clothes, be rushing, and then wonder why I'm so irritated all day.
mm
That's setting your day up for stress that is not even necessary. So now I get up an hour before I have to leave and be out of the house, and that gives me enough time to do my mindset work. So I do a meditation or a breath work every morning to get myself into an empowerment state rather than a disempowerment state. I think again, we have so many distractions in life, and picking up your phone right away, you see all the things that are happening, just sets you up for failure or like a bad mindset for the day. So my negotiables are the getting up an hour before, my meditation and breath work. And some days that's literally a 5 minute thing. If I
mm
have more time, I'll do a 20, 30 minute thing. So again, it doesn't have to be something that takes up so much of your time. And then the last thing I do is a mindfulness. Like activity or whatever, mindfulness practice. So that usually is a journaling. I either write down just one thing I'm so proud of myself for. It literally takes 2 minutes. But
hmm
it's the last thing that I do so that I go to bed with an empowerment mind.
mm
Or I'll turn to my gratitude journal and just cultivate a little bit of gratitude and, do a journal page for the night. Um, but I think what has helped me stick with those is one, when I fall off of it, I recognize how different I feel.
mm
And I recognize how much those things truly help me. And so then I make it a point to incorporate those more. Nobody is perfect. Perfectionism is not a thing. So yes, you're going to fall off on those on certain days, but it's again recognizing how much those truly help you and then getting back on track with that, not shaming yourself because you didn't do it.
hmm Yeah. One thing I'm working on in therapy is translating shame or should to I could.
Yeah.
And right, because you're when you should, it comes from that place of shame, shaming yourself into doing something, or like comes
Yes.
again from that disempowering state that you just mentioned. But if I change it to I could go to the gym, I could
Mhm.
get up and cook myself a meal, I could drive past the fast food restaurant instead of stopping, right? Like,
Yeah.
it just feels so much better. And I'm finding that I'm actually getting these things that I was shoulding myself for doing,
Hmm.
like skincare, for instance, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm feeling so excited about it. Like
Yeah.
it's like a 10-minute thing. It's not just like a quick thing that I'm doing. It takes some time. But I don't whatever is happening right now, like it is working. I want to stick with it. And I just feel, yeah, like I feel so good going into bed.
Yeah.
And then a little along the way, I'm like, all right, what else can I add in here? Like what else, like how can I even improve it more? And I like that because like you said, I didn't like throw all the things in all at once, right? Like I didn't have like, okay, I'm gonna do all these things. I'm gonna journal, I'm gonna meditate, I'm gonna blah 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 blah. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it was like small steps. And
Yeah.
so now it's like I feel like I've conquered where I'm at now, and now I feel ready. Like I could add
Hmm.
in this other thing, right? Very easy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, and that was my big thing is like I was trying to add all these things. I'm like, oh my gosh, all these things are so good for you. I'm gonna do, these like 17 steps before I get up in the morning when I was somebody that left 15 minutes before. I'm like, there's no way in hell I'd be able to do that.
yeah.
Things take time, and I think we're so programmed to instant gratification. That's
Hmm.
another thing that we have to recognize is that everything is an instant. So just stick to it and you'll see the results that you like, that you want, and that will help you to stay motivated to continue doing the
Hmm.
things that you like.
Yeah. Mm. So someone that's listening to this, what like where would you suggest, where would they start? What would be a good step one for somebody?
Um, I think really just honing in on your personal values,
Okay.
really understanding what is so important to you and what drives you for life. I think personal values and having like a personal statement, or you can call it an affirmation, giving you a why reason to what you're doing, is really going to help you, one, stay motivated to do those, and two, direct your
Hmm.
path. Because like I shared in the beginning, I kind of had an idea of, you know, what I liked in life. I knew I wanted life to change, but I didn't exactly know how or what.
Hmm.
So until I sat down and wrote out my values, and actually I did it in my nurse coach program, they had us do it, and there was a whole long list of values, and I kind of marked all of them that stuck with me. And then I was left with a whole big list of values. But then I took those and I marked it down into five different ones. And now that's kind of my driving force, for things that I want to make adjustments in my life for.
Hmm. Hmm. Love that. Mm.
Mm.
This was so good. I love this
Yeah,
conversation.
thank you.
And so when you work with people, do they have to be in
Mhm.
Michigan, or you can work with anybody in the world?
Nope, it's all online. I do Zoom
Okay.
calls. And then if you are in Michigan, if you're in the area, if you prefer to meet in person, we can find a space, that's comfortable for both of us,
Hmm.
and do it that way as well.
Awesome. All right. Well, as we're wrapping up here, how can
Yeah.
people find you? I know you have some good Instagram stuff that you've been putting out there. So how do you prefer people
Yeah.
get in contact with you?
Yeah. So either on Instagram, my handle is Alicia_Pure Prana. I'm on Facebook as well, just Alicia Stanko. And then I do have a website, that kind of explains a little bit more about my coaching programs and services that I offer. So that would be a great resource. And that is www.pureprana-wellness.com.
Awesome. And we'll make sure to link that into the show notes too for people so they
Awesome.
can find you easily.
Yeah.
And thank you so much again for coming on. This was such a great
Yeah.
conversation. I feel very
Thank you.
empowered, and
Oh, good.
yeah, I love it. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was great.
absolutely. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. If you loved it, be sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And if you really fucking loved it, make sure to tag me on social media at the Rachel Main. I'll see you next week.